Sales is a funny old game. One of my biggest frustrations is the slide decks that we see that people put in front of us. They're really boring, right? They're normally vanity decks that just tell us all about how brilliant they are as a business, how many offices they've got, what customers they've worked with, but it really doesn't actually mean anything to us. Now, for me, writing a good slide deck should be as if you're an author of a thriller. Think of yourself as the John Grisham of slide deck. You need to take your customer on a roller coaster ride, and each slide should be like a chapter that gets them excited about what's going to come next and what you're going to tell them. And they want to get to the conclusion. They want to hear the punchline of the joke. They want to hear the conclusion of the story because you've intertwined it with everything you're telling them. Now, too many people have a standard slide deck. Let me tell you, there should be nothing. You should have no standard slide deck. That shouldn't exist. Every customer is different. Their needs are different. Your understanding of their business should be different. And therefore, the messaging that you include and the story that you tell them, and by story, I don't mean the lies that you interweave. I mean a story that means something to them, a context you put it in, an analogy that you spin it into. Here's 46 slides about why we're brilliant. But slide decks for me are nearly always written back to front. They start with the slides, and often the salesperson's just given those slides when they start a new job, and then the salesperson's told to spin a narrative around them. Actually, if you were an author, you would write the plot first, right? You wouldn't just start on chapter 1 and start writing. You would map out the full plot with all of the key milestones throughout and the conclusion. And this is why you should approach a slide deck like a book. Number 1, what's the story that you're looking to tell? That narrative should form the shape of your presentation with all the pertinent plot points throughout. Number 2, now map those key plot points throughout. Each one of those plot points should be one of your slides. It should be serving an individual purpose within the wider story. Number 3, when mapping those plot points, think of them in terms of scene setting. You're introducing the landscape, how the world is right now. So you're introducing the protagonist, the antagonist, the supporting actors, and fleshing out those characters. The problem that most vendors make is they think they're the protagonist. The customer is the protagonist. The vendor is actually a supporting actor. The antagonist, or the bad guy, is actually either the problem that they've got at the moment, or in some cases the existing vendor. And what you're looking to do is show the story of how you overcome that adversity, the problem they have, and how that supporting actor can help them get there. Number 4, once you've done all that, you can actually start writing the slides themselves, filling in the gaps and fleshing everything out. Number 5, I'm going to go back a step and remind you again. The vendor is a plot device. Who wants to read a book about Batman's cape or James Bond's martini glass? Actually, that sounds quite good. Can we get a trademark on that? I mean, both of those would also still be better than The Notebook. Number 6, introduce supporting characters in the shape of evidence, case studies, and testimonials. But listen to that word, supporting. Pay special attention to how they enrich the story of the protagonist. In a book, you wouldn't just introduce a character for no reason. There should be foreshadowing of that. And step 7, always make sure to conclude the story and tie all the strands together. Often we assume that the person listening is just able to make the connections themselves, but spell it out to them, tell them how everything relates, and make sure there's no loose ends at the end of the story, because it might be the one thing that ties the story together. Now, in this case, the one thing that isn't like a book is we're not looking for a movie adaptation and we're not looking for a sequel. This is a standalone novel, and so should be written as such. How do you approach slide decks? Do you have another method for making sure that the message hits home? Do you think you're nailing your sales pitches? Please tell us in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to smash that like button, cringy as it sounds. And please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel where we upload regularly, often several weeks in advance of the content that comes out on LinkedIn. But for now, it's goodbye from me, and we will see you on the next one. Well, you're a glutton for punishment, staying all the way to the end, but I really appreciate it. Now, if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe over here, somewhere. Am I anywhere near it? Not sure. Or watch one of the extra videos up here. Peace! Pretty gangster. Yep. I'll be on that TikTok soon. Definitely.